A pair of top state officials took the oath of office today in Austin. The entirety of the top of Texas's leadership was turned over in this past November's elections. This morning, George P. Bush became the fourth generation of the Bush family to be sworn into elected office when the son of Jeb and the grandson of George H.W. became the state's new land commissioner. His general land office oversees state-controlled lands, mineral rights properties, and also helps preserve Texas history like the Alamo. This afternoon, Glenn Hager became the state's new comptroller, or controller, depends on your pronunciation. The Aggie was the youngest state senator when he represented District 18. That includes Burleson and Washington counties locally and then points to the south. Now his financial forecasting will be counted on for the state to set its budget. And there have been some recent fluctuations in oil and in other parts of the economy that could make his prognostication critical. In his speech just a short time ago on the Senate floor after he was sworn in, Hager did not mince words about his feelings about Washington.
It is no wonder that nearly 500 more people moved to Texas than have typically left on an average day in the past several years. Like I've said before, if you're headed to Texas and you have a strong work ethic, the red carpet is rolled out. But if you want to change Texas, then you can turn around and go right back home. And I say that very clearly because your liberal, job-killing policies are not welcome for the Lone Star State. Fact is, we're facing enough challenges to our economic dominance without adding a bunch of naysayers to the equation. In fact, we have a bunch of them in Washington, D.C. already. In a global economy like ours, Texas is affected by events halfway around the world, whether it's the Russian economy, continued unrest in the Middle East, or even North Korean movie critics these days. Higher oil prices that help fuel the expansion of the Texas energy industry have now fallen, and OPEC is struggling to handle how do you deal with Texas's increased production. The resulting lower fuel cost should reduce the price of transporting goods, which is great for consumers and ultimately our economy. In fact, the average taxpayer will see the equivalent of a 2% pay raise as a result of lower fuel prices. As we move forward in the months and years to come, we need to stay focused on those things that have formed the foundation of our economy. On a broad scale, we should keep encouraging job creation and innovation, keep taxes low, and limit government spending. We must be more committed than ever to look out for regulations and red tape that hurt small business and cut them out. When it comes to the office of the comptroller, our role is to continue economic strength of our state. We will focus more than ever on customer service. When it comes to our priorities in the office of the comptroller, we will focus on our core constitutional functions that include tax collection, accounting, and providing a clear revenue estimate to legislators. We'll continue to root out waste, fraud, inefficiency in state government to maximize shareholder value for who? The taxpayer. We'll shine an even brighter light on transparency, on taxes and spending to make government even more accountable to the taxpayers. We will never forget that who we work for is the taxpayer, and it's not the other way around. Our job is to handle the basics and then get out of the way. Could you imagine if America would look like today if the federal government adopted the fundamental precepts of the Texas model? Picture what would happen if President Obama said, hey, Texas has created 2/3 of the nation's jobs in the last 6 months. Let's take a page out of their playbook. Well, I wouldn't hold my breath. For whatever reason, the federal government seems committed to limiting economic opportunity. And that's why we have to work even harder to keep Texas right on track. I can assure you that my team in the Comptroller's office and I will do everything in our power to keep the Texas economy on track. I'm honored to have the chance to work with incoming Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Patrick to keep Texas on its unprecedented run. Together, we will take Texas to an even higher level of prosperity. Together, we will put our bosses, the taxpayers, first. Together, we will ensure that Texas remains to the nation and the world an example of personal freedom, game-changing innovation, an unlimited opportunity. So I say now, let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. Why? Because our children's future is waiting.